Maybe I gotta be brief. Gotta be brief.
You want to do the show with Manny?
Man, you wanna be my lovely co-host? Hey everybody, it's Charm from the Good Dog, and this is the lovely and slightly uncouth Manny Banani. He's done. What do we do? What's the magic you do? Like today they did, like, they've been giving me these 5-shot, like, cappuccinos this big.
Yeah.
This one's like up to, I know wet, but you don't get it like soaked like a latte. What do you say?
No.
What do you?
For yours?
Yeah, how do you get?
the same thing. I order it the same way you do. It's just they give me special treatment.
How does that special treatment come about? By being charming and sweet and
Charming
nice.
and sweet and nice.
Oh, well, I got a
that how you
lot of work to do, I guess.
Isn't that how you get through life?
Is that why I get crummy cappuccinos?
No.
Because I just drive up and I'm like, give me a cappuccino. Make it good. They're like, oh, we'll make it good for you. Speaking of which, my foray through the cappuccino line was not so good.
Tell the peeps about it.
Well, real quick. Driving through Starbucks, going to get my coffee, just about to have a client session, and had Enrique with me, and we were just like, everything's good, birds are singing, you know, flowers are blooming, and the woman in front of me in a Porsche SUV gets her coffee, takes off. We pull up a little bit. She realizes she's probably got the wrong coffee or the wrong whatever, and she throws it in reverse and hammers us. And it was pretty sad because, you know, the Porsche came out of the shop like just a couple months ago, like redone in the front where it had some scratches. And so it was a very
Sad affair.
sad. I was pretty frustrated, especially because she was like really not casual about it. What is it? Just
nonchalant.
Yeah, but just like you could tell she wasn't thinking. She wasn't like she just like. Anyways, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
But anyways,
Right,
so we got hit.
Yep.
But today I did okay.
You did fine.
So, are you ready to jump into this show?
Yeah.
All right,
Born ready.
guys. So the peeps have spoken. We talked to you guys. I asked some questions about what you wanted. What they wanted is less of this.
Less speaking.
They want more of this, less of this, right? And to Laura's credit, she's always been trying to push me in that direction. She's always been the voice of reason here.
Not for any other reason, but that I know that my attention span is really low.
You're gonna throw me under the bus here?
So it's just I have a low attention or like short attention span. So if it's like
get to the good
something's
stuff.
going too long, I'm like I don't trust that you're gonna take care of me with the rest of the stuff. So I just
you have trust issues.
I'm all
Anyways, okay. So that said, I'm gonna move real quick, real spicy and fast. It's gonna be a tight Q&A Saturday, right?
Tight
Nice and tight.
Yep.
So here's what we got going on, right? Just keep this banner to a minimum.
Yes, please.
So you're back. You just got back from Nola. What?
Nola,
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Picked you up. You were there for what? 18 months.
I felt like it.
You were there a long time.
3 weeks. Yep.
You sorted out some pretty awesome dogs. Helped a lot of people.
Yep.
Had a little bit of vacay, a little bit of alone time. You and Cujo had a really good time. That was pretty cool. I went down and visited you twice, not just once but twice. Spent
DVD
Christmas.
stuff.
We finished the DVD and we launched it on Christmas.
We launched our DVD on Christmas, which brings us into the DVD is out.
Yes.
And selling like hotcakes.
Hot cakes.
Well, that sounds kind of. Does it sound like cocky?
No, it's good news.
Yeah.
It's good news and it makes me hungry. I mean.
Hotcakes.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I use language like that, because it inspires me. Anyway, so the DVD is doing really good. Any of you guys that are looking to improve your DVD game, your DVD game, or your e-collar work, Highly recommended. We put our hearts and souls into it for just about a year.
Yep.
5 hours of goodness. Highly recommended for actually learning the entire process, not just little pieces of it, start to finish. And what, 1,000-page PDF that you put together?
90 pages.
90 pages? Okay.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, just awesome work. So that's that. We got some big plans for 2016. You guys want us to do all sorts of stuff. We got some great feedback. Periscope, everybody's like clamoring for Periscope. Jeff Gellman's like, yes, Periscope. We'll see. We're not totally sold or crazy about it just yet, but we'll see if maybe we can do something funny.
I'm a big fan of like the nice quality stuff, and like it just because of that, like because it's lo-fi and it's kind of like I love Snapchat though. But
yeah, which is lo-fi. But there's something about, for me, like, and tell me if you agree, and I'll try and be really brief with this. The thing with Periscope is it's got like, and Andrea actually mentioned this on one of her posts or comments today, is that it's kind of frenetic and it's really disjointed, right? So like I've watched Jeff do it, and I've watched other people do it, and they're constantly distracted by the comments coming up. So you're trying to like deliver a piece of information.
A real way to like answer questions like we do here, but it'd be a different, it's a cool way because Jeff answers questions.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like you answer questions, but what's happening is as you're doing it, other questions are coming up. People are like, "Hey Jeff, what's going on? Hey Sean," and so like I see people that are doing it, they're constantly distracted.
You would have trouble with that.
I'd cast it away. Anyway, so we'll see. Maybe we'll do like a bonus question on Periscope. Could be like fun or something like that. And then we've got a couple books coming out. So big stuff happened in 2016. Hold on to your hats and anything else you might hold on to.
Yes.
And with that, I think we are going to jump into the show.
Hit it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is the new, brief, tuned up, airtight Sean from The Good Dog. And to my right, the just recently arrived back in town. She's got a little black thing. There we go. Oh, got it. Perfect.
You're crazy about that. Yes.
You did a little mascara there. I was just looking after you. Just keeping you nice. This over here is the just lovely and pristine and recently in town Laura Morgan, and we're so glad to have her back. Yay. Yeah. And all these guys that you can't see, they're all part of the Good Dog crew. This is the Good Dogs Q&A Saturday, episode number 64. Man, we got it. Like, look, I mean, it's really coming together with this whole number system. So, anyways, that said, the one other thing that everybody wants, timestamps.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing, and I know it's hard for us because sometimes we kind of forget, but timestamps would really help folks that are like, I've had enough of Sean and Laura. I want to just get to the meat of this stuff. So
you
maybe
guys can just scroll through, too, if we happen to not do them, because we can promise them, but maybe we won't get to them.
Yeah.
You can scroll through YouTube, and the reason why I break up each question with a card that says question number 1 or whatever. You can scroll through and find those. Yeah, it's really easy. That's how I do the timestamps anyway. I scroll through and look for the little stuff, and then I take that time. So if it's not up there, you guys can do that yourselves. And if we do happen to be able to do it, then awesome. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely try and get that out for you guys. I know some people said that they've got issues with like bad internet stuff and like buffering, and so it's like a constant struggle. So, anyways, we'll definitely try and make it easy for you guys. So, Laura Morgan, question number 1. Hit me with your best shot. Wow, this is so awesome.
It's quick, right? It's like your hair is blowing.
Woo-hoo. Okay, question number 1 comes from Sue.
Yep.
Sue says, "Hi again, Sean and Laura. I've been using Place for a few months now with success. My husband even made the cots for both my dogs, and they like them, and there's no problems.
Excellent.
The one dog who is fearful out of the blue is scared on it now. She was just laying there and looked scared and ran off of it with her head lowered. I put her back on it, and she stayed for a while, but again, she jumped off. So what I've been doing is putting a throw blanket on the floor, and she's doing okay. The question is, should I keep trying to put her back on the cot? I don't want to scare her more. So I'm just not sure how to proceed. If you could share your thoughts, I would really appreciate it."
Okay, Sue. So we get tons of dogs that come in. They've got all manner of things that they're insecure, worried, freaked out, nervous about. It might be a place command. It might be going like going into the bathroom because it's got a tile floor. It might be going through a door. It could be a myriad of things, or myriad. I don't know if you're supposed to put A in front of it, but Andrea will let us know. So it could be a myriad of issues that might trigger your dog's insecurity, fear, something they're not familiar with. So it's really up to you. You have the choice. You said the throw rug works. That's hard to say. Throw rug works really nice. If you want to go with that, you can. But what I'd recommend is, honestly, I'd recommend that you get your dog over the hump with the cot, so you can actually help your dog build confidence and get rid of one fear component. I mean, that's all we do is look for things that are challenging for dogs and try and work them over the hump. So if they've got a problem with the cot, or if they've got a problem with the door or the bathroom, I don't want to just let them sit there and have that simmer and be part of their ongoing like mental landscape. I want to help remove that stuff, and the easiest way to do it is just exposure, exposure, exposure. But if you're doing it with just food and she keeps breaking and you're saying she looks sad and this and that, like, you need to have some kind of way to enforce the command in order for her to get through that. Like, but basically the one thing I always talk about, dogs are like, if I don't like something or I'm uncomfortable, I do the easiest thing to get away from it. So your dog's just gonna, I'm out of here, I'm out of here, I'm out of here. Your job is to say, I know this is like uncomfortable, but it's gonna be a bit more healthy for you if you actually learn to tolerate it. And then eventually that won't be an issue for your dog, and your dog will have more confidence, be more stable in other contexts. So that would be my advice for you, and hopefully that makes sense. But once again, it's totally up to you. If you want to just use the throw rug, use the throw rug. But if you want to get your dog better and improved and move down the line, get them used to the cot. But you got to do it like leash and prong. You know, at least you have to have some way to enforce that boundary. You're contemplating something.
No, I was just thinking about with those cots. I don't know what your cot looks like. I know with like the pet cots, they've got the little
probably
like,
something
plastic,
like that. They're
like piping sort of stuff, and then it has like the canvas. Sometimes when dogs are afraid of those, they're weird about them. We flip them over.
Did
you
No,
okay.
But go ahead.
So when we're doing place, we don't use them, but if we're using them at T3 or something, we flip over the cot to get the dog used to the feeling of that canvas and laying on it and being, doing that. So
it's like an intermediate step or a baby step.
Yeah. So you could do that. You could put the cot down upside down with like the throw rug over it. And then eventually, when your dog's totally cool with that, just take the throw rug off and then silly lay down. And then she's pacing.
Yeah, she's anxious. She missed you.
She missed me. And then then take the throw rug off, and then it's just the canvas, and then flip it over, and kind of like baby steps towards that could help.
And when we are at T3 and we're doing like stuff with cots, because it's a common thing for dogs to be nervous about the cots. They're a little bit flimsy, or they move around, and it can be uncomfortable. We flip them over, walk them over it a few times, then have them stay on it for a little bit, and usually within a few minutes they're able to walk right on to the cot and be cool with it. So, but that's once again tools we're using that really help us communicate with the dog what we want, what we're looking for, and then set boundaries for them. If you're just doing it with a regular leash or no leash and just food, you could really struggle with it. So, Hercules. So that's it.
Cool. Thanks.
Hope that helps. How was our intro?
Great.
Was it brief?
Very brief.
Excellent.
Yes.
I like brief.
All right.
It's a new me. It's part of 2016.
2016
Brief
Sean.
Yeah.
It's actually New Year's Day right now, by the way. We're shooting on New Year's Day.
Happy New Year's, by the way.
Happy New Year's to you. Her.
Happy New Year's to Hercules.
All right. So, Jose.
Jose
says, this one?
Just the top one.
Okay. I get your point about treats and food. After all, if compliance to a command is not negotiable, why should we bribe our dog into compliance? What I'm failing to understand is what keeps the dog interested in complying to command under your philosophy. From the dog's point of view, what does he gain? What is his motivation to comply?
So Jose, great question. And Jose's got like 4 questions in there. He was like, he hit us up.
I think he actually emailed me, and I told him he had to do this. So
So he's following good directions.
Yes, he's
good
awesome.
work. Good work, Jose.
I was like, these look familiar. Cool.
So I think Jose just bought our Foundation DVD as well as the e-color DVD. So he's got some questions about that. But so good question about the food stuff. First and foremost, I just want to address that it's not about the bribery. Well, Hercules, that it's not just the bribery thing. I don't want to bribe dogs to do tasks, but it's maybe even more so, it's about the state of mind that we get from dogs that are doing food work. They're really jazzed up, they're really aroused, they're hyper fixated, they're always waiting for what's the next cue, what's the next command, rather than being relaxed and chilled out. So I'd really like to impart that to you as being like our primary like friction point with that, is that those aren't the kind of dogs that I want to send home to people, especially dogs that are like biting, anxious, freaked out, you know, dog aggressive. I want them to be calm, chilled out, and relaxed, and we find food to be counterproductive for that. So that's the main thing. And then as far as what's in it for the dog, so I just wrote a couple notes here to make sure that I covered them thoroughly for you. But it's for me, it's a philosophical lifestyle kind of choice slash debate. It really is. Like, you could ask a million different trainers and get a lot of different answers about this, and a lot of trainers really feel strongly that if there isn't food or reward or something like that, then there's nothing in it for the dog. I disagree. So I feel like life, play, food, fun, love, inclusion are more than enough for a dog to be rewarded and be fulfilled and have a great life. So my dogs don't get food to do their work. Laura's dogs don't get food to do their work.
Their work is just like,
their work's pretty damn easy,
it's
right?
just like
so it's not
being part of our lives and
right.
not like being crazy.
Now, if you're talking about like performance dogs and you're trying to get them to do like high performance and at a high level of attention and like sophistication, then maybe you need to work with like toys, tugs, and, you know, for those kind of like drivey dogs and food and things like that. If that's what you want, if you want that like down, sit, like, I don't want that, and my clients don't want that. So that's not what we're looking for. So that's why we don't use the food. And then the other part of this is that I feel like all that other stuff is more than enough reward for dogs to be happy and fulfilled. And our clients get the same results, or I shouldn't say get the same results. They're getting the same value out of it with their dogs as what we're doing when we're training them. They're going home, the dogs are listening, they're respectful, but they're not like, they're not bummed out. They're like, cool, my owner, he's calling me. Cool, what are we going to do next? Oh, we're going for a walk, or we're going to go out in the backyard, or we're going to do this, or it's feeding time, or it's playtime. It's like, it's not just work, it's this whole comprehensive world. So, but I really think it's a philosophical debate, and I feel very strongly, as do all of us at The Good Dog, where we stand on food. And it doesn't mean we don't ever use food, because we definitely use it, especially like I just used it with Casper, who was that super kind of aggressive resource guarding guy. I used food as a bridge to get him into a better space, and then faded the food. He went home with no food work at all for his owners or anything like that. But hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully I got to the bottom of that for you. So it's always a good question. And it definitely puts us at odds with a lot of trainers and even friends of ours. And I don't know if there's any right way or wrong way. It really comes down to, what do you want dogs to look like when you're sending them home to clients? And so for us, we have a very specific, very decided way that we want dogs to go home. And also, because the dogs we get, they're not just like happy-go-lucky dogs. They're dogs with major behavior issues. So we need all the leverage, all that calm, all that relaxation, not the arousal, not the drive, so dogs can make better decisions. So hopefully that helps, Jose. Thanks so much for buying the DVDs. Hope they're really helping you out. And I'm sure we'll hear some more questions from Jose in the future.
Hope so.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Look at you, rocking and
trying,
rolling.
baby, trying.
So we got question number 3 is from Miss Tara Isaacson. And she also emailed us about this.
Yeah, so she actually mentioned that she might want to do a phone consult for a little more thorough kind of investigation, which I contemplated whether to even like include it. Yeah, but I figured I'd give her a little something just so she can kind of chew on that, and then we'll figure out when we actually do a phone consult.
Yeah, so Tara says, hi guys, I adopted a new female pitty and was following protocols for introduction of a new dog religiously. But while I was gone, she and Scout were left alone in the yard briefly, and a serious brawl ensued. Not sure of the cause. There were no toys or resources in the yard. They stopped immediately when my husband heard them and called Scout off.
That's good news.
Is 2 females a bad idea? Are they just not compatible? Is Scout just an a-hole? We've had many dogs come through as guests and fosters without any issue, but as you know, Scout is not an easy dog. They're both in crates in our bedroom across the room. I've had them coexisting on place in the same room since the incident. When I'm home, we have a large outdoor run that's split on 2 with solid plywood. Is this setup okay? They can't see each other with the run. new girls starting e-collar foundation. I could easily rehome her, but would like to make it work. Loving the new DVD.
Right.
Great,
Oh,
Tara.
the e-color DVD?
Yeah, yeah.
Great, Tara. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as the yard stuff, there's no toys or resources, but I guarantee you there are resources out there. There's stuff, whether they're resources to be the typical kind of like possessive stuff, or just triggers that create arousal and then cause dogs to fight. Could be fence fighting, could be a dog around the perimeter that got your dogs goosed up and Scout started to get worked up, or the other dog got worked up and Scout was like, oh no you don't, or the other dog was like, oh no you don't, Scout. Could have been a squirrel jump out of the tree, could be,
a leaf falling from the tree.
We've had so many clients with two dogs that have had fights over stuff in the backyard that seems like benign stuff, whether, like Laura said, like a twig, a piece of wood they'll fight over, or like
they both like for the same fly, like you don't even know.
Just or squirrels. Squirrels can definitely trigger that stuff. Can be so many things. So I want to make sure we cross that off the list, that there's nothing out there. That's why you don't want them, and I know you know that, you don't want them unsupervised, because it's a very easy one to cause.
Scout's worked up. Scout's looking for some
Scout's looking for trouble. I mean, we've seen the videos, and Scout is not like just a laid back easy dog. No. Scout's on edge. So either Scout is on edge and then sending that bad juju to the other dog, or the other dog's like, whoa, you're on edge and I don't like that, and then the tension's building. So that's whether he's like diagnosed clinically as an a-hole is something we'll have to reserve judgment on.
Scout,
She, sorry,
yes,
I know.
Scout's
a confusing name. It's a confusing name, but you know what I meant. I was going for a little comedic delivery, and I lost the sex of the dog. Anyways, so with two females, it's kind of always like a legendary, notorious, more challenging situation, oftentimes than even males. I don't know what it is with you ladies, but
gosh.
No, but there's a really like prevalent thing with female dogs being like the biggest like tension, tension, and can be a very hard one to resolve. So you guys have already got a little tension under your belt, so it's something you're gonna have to keep a very, very close eye on. But that doesn't mean it's hopeless, right? So for me, what I would do is I would give it a couple months if you're down for it. It sounds like you are down for it, and I would train the bejesus out of the new dog, and I would walk them together. If you can walk Scout together, because I know Scout is pretty challenging on the walks.
I still haven't seen your video, Tara. We can't get that video. Can you Dropbox it to me again in a different form? I want to see the updated video with the dominant dog collar.
Yep.
I asked for it a couple weeks ago and still haven't gotten it.
Don't make her ask again. So
I want to see it.
So
what
was I saying?
You don't know if they can walk together.
So walks. If not, if you can try and get somebody to help you, friend, boyfriend, whatever, help you walk the dogs. Get them walking together. Where's that voice coming from off camera? And get them working together, training in the house, all sorts of stuff. Right? Here's what I'm looking for: walk them, train them, work them, have them around each other, and be a sleuth and look for tension. See what's going on. Is the tension waning, and are they becoming comfortable and buddies, or does it like vacillate and they go from being like kind of cool to like weird stuff like side eye contact, tension, like posturing, or is it continuously moving in that direction? If for the next couple of months you do really good work with both dogs and a lot of inclusion, but with like management and safety, and you get the other dog rocking and you're continuously seeing tension stuff going on, I'd say you probably have a bad fit that I would recommend you don't hold on to. Now, I know you want to do a phone consult. If you want to do a phone consult, we can talk about even some other further measures, things that we can go about for fighting stuff that can be very valuable, but like those details are a little bit too involved for the show right here. So that's where I would go with that. So it's definitely not hopeless, but it is one fraught with a little bit of challenge, and so you'll just have to see what you can see in the next couple of months with doing some good work. You're luckily a very qualified lady to do this stuff, and then see what you get and report back and let us know.
Cool. And send us that video.
That video.
Thank you.
Don't make her mad.
Okay, we've got question number 4.
Christina.
Comes from Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Christina says, I have a 4-year-old Rottie mix. He's dog aggressive when inside a house. My brother-in-law came in with his dog and Zach attacked his dog. Not right away, but when I walked in and hugged my brother-in-law, Zach went after his dog. He does this with our other dog too. I've had to get him stitched up, the other dog. To make matters worse, I found out he was trying to bite my brother-in-law's legs.
That does make matters worse.
That's bad. What gives? What's his problem? With me and my husband, he's sweet. He does growl at my son when he wants him to leave him alone, but I'm worried he'll bite him at some point. Also, don't know if this is relevant, but I noticed at dog parks he will smell butts but not let anyone near his.
My technique too. Anyways, moving on. So, yeah, so it sounds like you've got a dog, like if your dog is cool with you guys and cool in the house as long as nobody else shows up, you've got possessive, territorial, protective stuff going on. You've got a dog who doesn't exactly know his place in the family hierarchy or the pack hierarchy or whatever you want to call it. Sounds like he's a bit of a loose cannon, and I don't mean to imply that you're not doing anything with him, but a dog that's walking around, growling, possibly like nipping or anything, or possible,
like this,
possible bite risk with your son, and then attacking the other dog in the house. That's a dog who's like way too much on edge, has an attitude issue that needs to get addressed, and has a state of mind that needs to get addressed. If you really want to go after it, you're going to have to, like, if this isn't just like, oh, this is a pain in the butt and we'll put him away, you know, like if you're determined to get this sorted out, we get dogs like this all the time. What's that?
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, this is like such a common thing, but all we do is we do a comprehensive training approach. We typically do it with e-collar stuff. We get the dog to be respectful, practice impulse control, get rid of all the silliness that I own the house, get the owners into a place where, like, what's the affection look like? What's the access to your personal space? What's the furniture look like? What kind of loosey-goosiness is going on? All those things contribute, right? If you're a dog, and if you're a dog who has an attitude issue, which it sounds like your dog might, a lot of the Rotties are kind of like, If he's got any of that stuff going on, and you're not doing training, and you're not doing structure, and you're not doing rules, and you're not creating accountability for bad choices, then that really is a tacit encouragement for him to just do whatever he wants to do. So I would do, our free videos. If you want to start there, he should have a leash and prong on at the very least. E-collar work would be even better for him. But if nothing else, I would do leash and prong, and I would do place command, I would do down, I would do an immaculate heel on leash. I would create a very structured world for your dog. What you're trying to do psychologically for him is get him out of this and get him into, oh, what do you want me to do? Lay down. There's a very different demeanor, attitude, and then behaviors that come when a dog is in a more respectful, tuned in, listening, taking information from you rather than feeling like we just cohabitate in this house, and when things go down I don't like, I just go after them. I just do whatever I want. Major psychological shift, and that's why training, which it's like, it's not just about like, oh, he does a sit or he gives paw or something like that. It's about how do you get the mind, how do you get the psychology of that dog into a different gear to where he doesn't feel entitled or he doesn't feel worried about anybody coming in the house. That said,
gotta do something about it.
Yeah. And I know I'm rolling like a steam train here, but feel free to jump in.
That's a good one.
But you shouldn't be having your son come in with a dog that's not on leash. If he's not on leash, he should definitely be on leash. If your son's bringing a dog over, your dog should be on leash. That's like chaos. Brother-in-law. Sorry. I thought it was the son.
No, the son's getting growled at in the house.
Oh God, wow! I can't keep straight the family dynamic there. So regardless, whoever's bringing the other dog in, dog should be on leash. Your dog should be on leash. If you can't control him, put him away or back tie him until you can control him. But like my heart flutters thinking about like a dog who's dog aggressive, protective, and territorial, and then having somebody walk in with another dog. It's perfect for a fight. It's perfect for a brawl. It's like novelty, stress, and excitement. Boom, perfect storm, right? So if you'll go to our free videos and you'll do like sit down, place, and thresholds and heel, and you'll be firm with your dog, and you'll let him know that none of that crap is allowed, you'll get a different thing, but it takes a ton of commitment. So you don't just like, oh, great, he's got a prong collar on. I mean, it takes work to train this out and get a dog into a better gear. So
this is something that, like, this would be full program sort of thing if you came to us with this on a
Explain what you mean by full program.
Yeah, so if you came to us on a contact form with all this stuff, this would be a 2 to 3 week board and train here. We couldn't, do one-on-ones or anything like that. You've got a big, powerful dog, like, going after people's legs.
And needing to stitch them up, like, not the people, but the dogs.
The other dog, and growling at your son. Like, this is, if you have access to a trainer, a balanced trainer in your area that you can work with, that's what I would suggest over, I mean, you could fully train your dog, e-collar and all that stuff, but this stuff sometimes takes like a
more educated hand. Yeah.
So this is tough stuff, and we don't want to be responsible, for giving you this advice and then like your dog bites your son. Yeah. We've seen it happen. We've heard about it. People come to us when the dog has actually done the bite. Yeah. So before that happens, not trying to scare you, but before that dog does something that's even worse, I'm so glad you found us. So if you need any help, finding a balanced trainer, we have references, referrals on our website. And just look for a balanced trainer in your area and
yes, get on that. And that would be somebody who uses prong collars, e-collars, corrections, not just food, things like that. So, but like Laura's kind of implying or hinting at that if you don't get this handled, typically these things get worse, and someone's going to get bitten, and your dog could find himself in a whole heap of trouble where dogs get taken away and put to sleep and things like that. Yeah. So typically dogs doing that, they're bratty, they're empowered, they're stressed, they're anxious, they're all those things. Training gets rid of that stuff if done well, and then your dog can make better choices and you can live a better life with them. So either you dive into our stuff and anybody else's stuff you can find, and you really work the program, or you get yourself a balanced trainer if you feel like you're in over your head, and have them help you out so you can have some real professional guidance. Yeah. Cool. Good luck.
Okay, question number 5 comes from...
How's the gab level?
Oh, it's good.
Were we okay? Our banter at a reasonable level?
Yeah.
Questions are complicated, so I'm kind of like...
Yeah, we got to do Q&A stuff, but I think the start was a lot quicker. Yeah. We got a lot of things like, we know
that. Guys, I'm working on it. Give me some good feedback.
Question number 5 comes from Natalia. Natalia says, Hi guys, I have a Shar Pei and he is a sweet, calm dog. On occasions he snaps and bites.
Old sweet, calm dog.
He snaps and bites friends when they get too close to me or do a loud, strong movement. Incidents have occurred inside our home or car. These biting incidents come without warning, no growling or signs of aggression. Sometimes he will also try to bite if I have him on the leash and I try to hand his leash to the walker or staff at his day camp. When I'm not around him, leave him with friends in day camp, he acts sweet and hasn't bit anyone. All the incidents have occurred when me and my boyfriend are with him. He's very pet-friendly and never shown aggression toward other dogs. He has known all of his victims, and after biting them, he remains calm around them, and a lot of times will try to get pet by them. Please let me know if you have any idea what's going on through his head. He's 2.5, and I got him when he's 8 weeks old.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. Okay. So, Natalia, Sharpeis, awesome dogs. I love them, but they can be, you can definitely have some like possessive, protective, snotty stuff, which can, which is not that different than, I think the last question that we just answered. I've got some notes for you, so I'm going to read some of this stuff off. Your dog is guarding and being possessive. So if you're curious about why is this happening, that's why. Yep. So your dog, it's happening in your boyfriend and your presence and not when you're not there. That's because the trigger or the possession, the resource to guard, to protect, is gone when you guys are gone. So that's the main thing to connect to. It's you guys that have become this thing to be protected, and chewing other people over. If you want to address it, I would love to have like a camera view into your place and see what you guys are doing. My suspicion is that this sweet, calm Shar Pei is got way too much affection, way too much access to your personal space, furniture, maybe sleeping in the bed. I don't want to reach too far. I don't want to jump to too many conclusions. But if you want to sort this out, then affection, cut it like down to like 2%. You're like, oh, really? Yes, if you want to fix it. If you don't want to fix it and like a few bites here and there like are cool, that's up to you. If the trade-off of like, but we really want to love on him, you're going to have to adjust that and realize that that may not be a workable model for you guys with this dog at this point, especially if you don't do training with him. So, where did we go? I just had it. So affection down like 90%. Cut access 90.
Needs to be like.
I'm being very generous.
99.9.
Yeah.
Your dog is being a very.
See, I'm too nice, aren't I? I'm too nice.
I'm too nice. I think the thing is like the reason why
I try not to scare people away.
I'm not trying to scare anyone away.
I know you're not.
What I am saying though is that what I see, what we both see, is all trainers in our arena. We see dogs being put down or rehomed because of this stuff.
Yep.
And you don't want that. And that's why you're here. And that's why you're asking. So it's awesome. So we got to give it to you straight. And that is that your dog is probably, if you've had it since 8 weeks, it's probably been spoiled the bejesus out of. And you probably, if you were sitting in this room, would
Sharpeis are extremely cute.
Totally cute.
Yep.
Probably not just you guys, but everyone that meets it is like, oh,
yep.
look
Attention.
how fluffy. And,
yeah. That creates Little Prince syndrome.
Yes. And then, oh, I can bite whatever I want. I can do this whenever I want.
This is my old lady. Yep. I'm going to protect her and my dude and all that.
And like protecting even is like a tough, like, it's just like, oh, I just want to do this. And then when you're around, you're this soft energy and it can totally take advantage of you. So that's why it's not happening when you're not around. We see it over and over and over. And the problem is that it makes your life such a disaster. And then it's so hard for the dog to come back from it after practicing it for so long. You just have to like, it's time to like get a handle on this if you really want to go for it.
Yeah, and I think there is something, and I could be wrong, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but there's something about the tone of her message that felt a little bit light for the severity of what was going on. So I think,
but maybe that's just
and it could be a language thing. She could be from somewhere else. Natalia is not like a typical, typical name here, so maybe she's from somewhere else. But if you're serious about this, because you should be, because it's dangerous stuff, then affection needs to be cut dramatically, if like not all the way. Access to your personal space, which means jumping in your lap, being able to be right next to you, any of that stuff. Uh-oh, I think Cece's here. It's time for crazy.
Keep going.
And so cut access to personal space. That's so important because dogs that are possessive typically want to be close and keep an eye on you. No furniture, no couches, no bed, none of that stuff. All of those things are mixed messages that increase and create possessive behavior and blur the lines about where the dog sits in the hierarchy in your family, what's dog world, what's human world, and then you get your dog really into trouble. So those are like non-negotiable. Affection, personal access, furniture, those need to be done if you want this fixed. You'll never get a dog to stop being possessive and protective if you keep sending those mixed messages, spoiling access, allowing freedom. Your dog needs to be like locked down and trained in order to get the mindset right. So train your dog. We got free videos or DVDs, so those are totally up to you. You can go to our website, www.thegooddog.net, and you can look at our free do-it-yourself videos, and you can use leash and prong, start training your dog how to walk like a gentleman with the immaculate heel, thresholds, place, down, get all those really, really knocked out, and then teach your dog how to place away from you. He breaks, no, correction, put him back. He needs to learn that like you're in charge, you're the leader, you're not a possession to be protected or possessed, and that he needs to learn how to tolerate being away from you emotionally and physically so we can dissipate this stuff. So those are the resources I'd start with. And then I'd also correct any nasty behavior that you get, right? So I'd correct any kind of like any kind of weird stuff. Cece's here. It's Indian food time. I'm going to try and continue on while this goes on, so bear with me while Cece does a little dog petting. So Natalia, I want the leash and prong on. If you don't have a prong collar on your dog, you need a prong collar on your dog, and you need to start addressing any of this like stuff around people. And this is the thing I want you to hold on to. There's always signs that your dog is escalating. You're saying he doesn't growl, he's not aggressive. Those are the clear, easy signs. Those are the signs. Those are the clear, easy signs. It's our Indian food. It's being delivered. Cece's here, and you know how it goes. Sorry, guys. I'm trying, Natalia. I'm trying. So, bye, Cece. Try. No. Don't kill it. I can't finish. Okay. So anyways, Natalia.
Happy New Year.
I'll show you the video next time too.
Okay.
Kurt, come on. Your friend next week.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, Natalia, sorry about that little disruption. So what I was saying is there's always signs, and this goes for all of you guys watching this. Anybody who says that there aren't lead-up signs to dogs biting people or biting other dogs, you're just not sensitive or tuned in enough to see those signs. They're always there. They're just really subtle. Growling is very overt. You know, attacking or aggressive behavior, that's very overt. That's like the end of the sequence. The beginning of the sequence looks like this. That's the beginning, right? Or that's the beginning. Or stillness. They're all very subtle, right? So you need to be highly conscious of your dog when you're walking him around people, right? You've got people inside. You got to have that dog on a leash so you can correct and let them know what you like and what you don't like, right? So if I've got your dog and I've got friends coming over and I'm being very conscious of my dog, and friend walks up and I see my dog go like that, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to bang, I'm going to pop nice and firm with the prong collar and say, knock that crap off. Don't you dare growl or misbehave around any of my guests. So giving you kind of the hardcore, the truth, the lowdown, and it may seem severe, it may seem hard, it may seem impossible. The hardest part about this training stuff is the lifestyle shifts, the lifestyle changes away from like affection, babying, coddling, furniture access, things like that. Manny is allowed to be up on the couch because Manny doesn't bite people, he doesn't growl at people, and he doesn't go after dogs. So that's a privilege he's earned. If he did any of that stuff, he wouldn't be allowed up here because it would make things harder for him. So I hope that helps. Go to our website, lots of resources there to help you out. Thanks.
You too. Everybody.
Okay, so quick Indian break.
We took a little break. Yes.
Fire-breathing dragon.
That was a spicy meatball.
CC came in like a fire-breathing dragon too. Like a bat out of hell, that guy.
Elijah, our buddy Elijah says...
Is Elijah in San Francisco?
Yeah, San Francisco. He's a dog walker.
That's where I was born, just in case anybody was curious.
How cool. Elijah says, I had a question about toys and bones in a boarding or board and train situation. I'm working with a frequent flyer boarding dog who has toy possession and aggression issues. His access to toys is highly restricted, and he's been doing some place exercises with toys and dogs around and doing very well. At the same time, I have other boarding dogs here who have great toy manners, and I was wondering what the toy/bone rules of your house are. Are your personal dogs allowed to have toys and bones around client dogs? Do you allow boarding dogs to have bones and chews when they're in their crates or during training downtime? Would you allow toys during regulated playtime, or is it best to just take the trigger away? Thanks for your advice, and looking forward to seeing you in New Orleans in February.
Accelerate.
Yes. Yay.
T3 Accelerate.
Yep.
Anybody wants to come and learn, contact us quick.
Yep.
It's going to be a blast in Nola.
Yep.
At the
How
loft.
could you say no to that?
How could you say no? You can walk the French Quarter, and then you can come in and you can get educated with us and build a business.
Yes.
That sounds like a deal to me. Anyways, got some notes for you, Elijah. So for me, I wouldn't allow a resource guarder to have access to toys, right? He's at your place, and as far as I know, it's not like a training context. It's more like you said, a frequent flyer boarding dog.
Yeah.
So frequent flyer boarding dog, like you don't need to add any tension, any extra layers of problems or
to your situation.
yeah, it's not for you unless they say, Elijah, I want him trained and worked on with that stuff, right? So, but other than that, you lose your privileges. You're going to be a jackass with resources. You lose your privileges, especially around other dogs. That's just loading them up and creating tension and all sorts of bad stuff. Okay, so if you're training him not to guard, that's a different story. So if you have been given permission or they want you to work on it, then bringing toys around, and if you know how to work through that stuff and you know how to issue corrections and consequences for guarding stuff. I mean, I would teach an out command, and then I would do a few other things, so it's kind of complicated. So if you are teaching him an out, or if you are teaching him not to guard resources against other dogs, that's a different story, but I don't think that's what you're going after. My personal dogs, they've got designated toy time, right? So every day when we're going to play, I break out Belle's rope, and we do tug, and I break out Junior's, what is it, Christmas?
Porcupine or hedgehog?
Hedgehog.
Yep.
Christmas hedgehog, and we throw that around. Manny's not really toy-oriented. He's mostly sleep-oriented. So I chase him around, and actually all I do is grab his tail and like just chase him around. It's a lot of tomfoolery. So, and then once that's done, which is probably like 15, 20 minutes, toys go away. I don't leave toys laying out. The toys, the stuff, that comes from me. I don't want any dogs, even my own dogs. I don't want them getting into like a Gollum-esque, like mine. I get to hold this all day long, and then somebody walks by, and then all of a sudden, even a great dog, right? They've had this thing all day, and they get in that space. So yeah, mine. Toys, chews, anything like that, bring them out when you want, supervise, take them away. And that's how you keep things cool. And then the other thing is that as far as are my dogs allowed to have toys around other client dogs, absolutely not, because we don't need that tension and we don't need any craziness unless we're working on a dog who's got guarding issues and toy issues and attitude issues. Then I definitely will set things up where I'll put a dog in place or something like that, and I'll start to present whether it's food, toys, proximity of other dogs, and I'll start to set it up, and I'll start to see if I can trigger the dog to make a bad choice, so I can correct the dog and work the dog through that and to make a better choice. So that's kind of how I approach toy stuff, and hopefully that clarifies for you, Mr. Elijah.
Just leave it out of the equation.
Yep. We'll be seeing you in a month. See you soon, buddy.
Okay, guys. Question number 7 is from Jacqueline.
Miss Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Warbis says, "Hi, you two. I'm back with a question on the Pointer American Bulldog Foster on lockdown.
Yes.
He's doing better, still some attitude and boundary pushing. Great on walks with e-collar, rarely have to use it as he knows if he gets corrected. The other night at the final out, which has never been an option for any of the dogs, he didn't want to go out and actually snapped at me.
Oh.
Did not connect, but could have. I had a feeling this is a method he's used in the past when he didn't want to do anything. Anyway, the lockdown tightened up and now he only eats from my hand after following a specific command, no affection. My goal is to bring about a complete reboot from whatever he's gotten away with from the past. Is this the correct way to go? Any other suggestions?"
Jacqueline. Okay. So, it sounds like you're doing a good job training-wise, right? Like the overall kind of like issuing rules and training, getting the obedience stuff together. So that all sounds great. I wouldn't be giving a guy who's got any attitude problems unless he's like literally sprouted angel's wings and is behaving in such an amazingly fantastic way. He shouldn't be getting any affection.
She said no affection.
She said she's like, if I'm not mistaken the way I read it, she's she was giving him and like tapered it off.
She said, anyway, the lockdown tightened up and now he only eats from my hand after following a specific command. No affection at this time.
No affection at this time, right?
Okay,
So my interpretation, I could be wrong, my interpretation is that he was having probably more freedom because he was giving better responses and probably more affection. With guys like this, with attitude stuff, you got to be so cautious about when you share that, and sometimes it's not okay to share it for a long time because the dog has been practicing the behavior for a long time. You lock him down, you train him, affection goes away, things get a little more strict and tough, and then all of a sudden you start to loosen up when you get a little bit of nice stuff, and then the dog starts to go, oh cool, we're sauntering down that path again, I know this well, and I'll start to misbehave again. So no affection for this guy, like I said, until he sprouts wings. So beyond that, removing affection, like you just said, locking him down, which you just said, all those things are really important tactics and components of the approach. Yeah. But here's the deal. If you've got a dog doing, because all I do is when I read questions like this, all I do is imagine the situation for myself and dealing with a dog like that, so I can try and problem solve how I would do it. And here's the rub, is that, and hopefully we haven't confused you as to think that lockdown and removing affection and having a dog work for his food is enough always to change behavior, because it's not. So if there's any misunderstandings, I want to clarify that right now. So that stuff's all important pieces of the puzzle, but here's the other piece, and it's really, really valuable, and that's when you have nasty, crappy behavior. I'm trying to say, I can't say it. I'm trying to like bleep myself, but I can't do it. I'm not talented enough. If you get any of that kind of behavior like that, a dog needs a firm consequence, so that behavior diminishes, right? Belle, stop. So the technical or scientific description, or not description, what is it? Definition for punishment. Everybody's like, oh, punishment's a bad word. But scientifically, the way they use punishment is anything that diminishes a behavior, that causes it to become less and less practiced, right? So I'm going to use that term now, along with, you can interchange it with consequence or correction or whatever. But what you're trying to do is to decrease a behavior, right? So we're not trying to get super sciencey, but a dog that's like, oh, I'll snap at you because I don't dig what's going on right now. Like you said, it looks like a practice behavior. Right. Oh no, that's consequence time. That's like, I want to diminish that. So the next time that dog goes through that thought process of, I don't really like this right now, instead of saying, the easiest thing for me to do is just create a consequence for you, instead, you create a consequence for that dog to where when that moment goes down, he goes, I'm going to make a different choice. That is truly, as far as in my experience, in our experience, the only way that you're going to see behaviors like that diminish, right? Now, how you go about that, that's a complicated, nuanced matter, and something that we can't even like totally dive into here because there's so many different approaches. But the concept in and of itself, whether it's an e-collar correction or a prong collar correction or a dominant dog collar correction, a bonk, if you know about bonking from like Gary Wilkes stuff, there has to be a consequence that is significant enough for that dog to say that behavior that typically gives me what I want is something no longer worthwhile, and I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm sure you can imagine a myriad of approaches that if I was faced with that, bringing a dog out of the kennel, and it would be, he'd be in big trouble, right? Yeah, no good. So, and the big trouble would cause that dog tomorrow to say, I'm not going to snap. Yeah. So, Jacqueline, everything you're doing is great, but there's extra pieces of this puzzle, and those pieces are making sure that you correct, share consequences, or punish unwanted behavior to where it diminishes. We can't just do the kind of like training and passive work of no affection and the other stuff that you suggested and get that same kind of dependability. We're really looking for the dog to do better work on his own moving forward in the future, future inhibition, if you will. So do you have any questions about that, Jacqueline, like specifically how I might go about that? Feel free to email us and see if I can give you a breakdown of some of the kind of corrective approaches for that.
Cool.
Cool?
Thanks. All right, so let's speed it up a little bit.
Damn,
A little
I'm
bit
trying. Really? Damn, am I going long?
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, like, let's keep it.
I'm trying to keep it tight.
Okay, question number 8. We've
Yeah.
got Beth Moody. Beth says, this from last week, she said, you might remember Buddy, the ferocious tripod Bernese border collie mix.
I do.
No longer ferocious. He has great recall, place for duration, stop, meets people at the door graciously. We go on daily long walks. We have a good e-collar heel while on leash. The with the prong collars back up. There aren't enough thank yous I can give to you guys.
Oh, great.
Here's the problem. Buddy, occasionally and without much warning, will suddenly lunge viciously at a passing truck or bicyclist while on a leashed walk.
Buddy.
Weeks go by and our walks are in sync, then whammo, the lunge. It happens most frequently on the street around our driveway as the trucks or cyclists come from behind, but not always. Lately, I've been hypervigilant for the first sign and giving a correction before the lunge. However, sometimes I'm just caught off guard. So what am I doing wrong? I've recently been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis after a long painful flare. While I don't think the flare-up affected our walks and playtime, I've been tremendously fatigued and more quiet around home. And when is the e-collar video coming out?
It's out.
It's out, Beth.
So Beth, like,
Love you, Beth.
yes, we do. My go-to on this, my go-to sarcastic answer is the blindfold, right? But I don't know if it'll work in this situation. Anyways, earplugs can help too. So, not for you, but for the dog. So Beth, here's the deal. We get this a lot. We get a lot of dogs that are reactive, and they can be reactive to a myriad of things, or myriad things, depending on what Andrea says we're supposed to do. Here's the thing. So you got really nice walk going on. You got the e-collar stuff. So you're doing everything right. You probably got the dog in a way better gear. But what's happening is occasionally bicyclist or truck is like kind of sneak attacking you and probably like causing like, it's probably extra noisy, extra close, surprising, something like that. It's catching the dog off guard and catching you off guard. So my strategy for this and our strategy if we're dealing with this stuff, Belle, is to set it up. Rather than react to the situation, rather than to like be out on your walk and holy mackerel, there's a truck and oh, we got a problem. Instead, I want you to go after those things. I want you to go after bicyclists wherever you think you can find them. If there's like a bicycle path, or if there's a park where people bike around a lot, if there's a place where you see a lot of trucks, it might sound like tougher to do, like go find them because like maybe life is, you know, hiding some of those objects from you, but you can find them. So what we do if we've got any of those problems, we go find them. And so for us, we go to the park, which is close to our house, so we can like go after jogger stuff. There's bicyclists there. If there's trucks, I'll go stand at an intersection where I know there's a lot of truck traffic. And the whole goal is that you set it up to where you're ready, to where you do see these tiny little momentary signs because you're ready. You're not just like lost on a nice walk and in a good zone and all of a sudden like something catches you. Instead, you're really vigilant. You're ready to roll. You got your dog. Oh, cool. Here comes a bicyclist. I actually put my dog close enough to create enough pressure to where there might be a response and then correct big and early. Big and early for either one of those situations. Do not wait until your dog explodes. The second you see your dog go from like that, nail him big. You want to create, just like I was sharing with Jacqueline a second ago, like all of this training that gets the mindset into the right place and the attitude in the right space helps a ton, but it doesn't always eradicate certain specific issues that have got a deeper kind of hold on the dog. So for that, you need a consequence that your dog goes, whoa, like not just the lunging, but the thought that precedes it is super, super unacceptable. And if you correct firm, a lot of people are afraid to correct firm for the beginning sequence. They're afraid to correct for ears popping up. They're afraid to correct for that. Like if I'm walking a dog who's got bike stuff and he's like, and he looks at the bike, boom, you're toast. Don't you dare look at that bike. You're not allowed to do that. That's the time to fight the battle. That's the time to get in the door. That's your opportunity to create some impact. Once he explodes, you're kind of toast and it's kind of over. So set it up, go after the stuff, and when you do see the stuff, be ready, be prepared, high-level correction, the earliest, like, I don't know what to call it, the earliest, like, give me help, let me help. Not just that, like the nanosecond that like you see the tiniest bit of it happening, that's when you correct, and you correct firm. And you do that enough, and what your dog will start to do is like make better choices.
Yeah. And Beth, you're the goal-setting queen. We've talked lots about this stuff.
Oh, yeah?
We talked, like, I think it's probably been a year. So I know that you're going to knock this out.
She did goal setting with you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool.
So,
awesome.
Buddy, I'm sure you knocked that out with Buddy. And so this is going to be just another thing on the list. So,
awesome. Good luck, Beth.
All right. Okay,
all right, so this is
question
Jennifer.
number 9 is from Barb, right?
Oh, God, we're still there. Man.
Exactly.
Whew.
Hey guys, thanks for everything you do. You guys are great, and I'm
Barb.
always recommending people to you.
Thank
Here's
you.
my question/problem. My brother has a dog who's high anxiety. The vet has him on Prozac. Anytime the kids or anyone is hyper or happy, his anxiety goes up. You can't leave him alone or he'll chew on everything. Is there anything that can be done, or is this just how he is?
Barb. Okay. Good question. Thanks for sharing and supporting us. Really appreciate it.
So much.
So, anxious dogs benefit a ton from just like comprehensive training. And so we get a ton of anxious dogs in here all the time. I mean, like probably the most thing we see, along with reactivity and comprehensive, especially e-collar training, comprehensive e-collar training for heel, sit, down, place, recall, all of the usuals that you see in our videos, all that stuff. Then along with duration, place, that's non-negotiable, and you start working your dog through that. It's okay. Belle's misbehaving. Rarely. She's just excited because she hasn't seen you in such a long time. So,
she does this every week.
She does not. She does not. You're trying to set my dog up. Anyways, so where was I? Yeah, so comprehensive training is really where it's at. Like if you really want, if you're, I think it's somebody in the family, right?
Yeah.
It's not her dog.
Her dog, yeah.
So it's a tough sell if the other person in the family is like, it's a problem, but I'm not like super committed to training.
Right.
If they are super committed to training, there's tons they can do. They can use our free videos. They can hire a balance trainer. They can, I was going to say rent our DVDs, but I don't think you can rent them. But you can purchase our DVDs. You can do any of that stuff, but it really works. Any of this stuff, like most of the dogs that come in on Prozac, we send them home not on Prozac because the training helps so much to calm them down. So go through our blogs, go through our videos, check it all out, and you can really get a feel for why it works. Calming the mind down through all of these different behaviors and duration work will go miles towards getting a dog into a better space. I would at least do leash and prong. If they can't do, like if they're like, wow, e-collar stuff is way out of our price range or too much work, at least leash and prong with a place command that's non-negotiable will give you some foundational stuff to help the dog be in a better gear. Any dog that's anxious, that's just allowed to roam, it just makes them more and more anxious. So a place command where the dog's like, I can't leave here even if I wanted to, even though things are worrisome, starts to adapt and get comfortable with the things that are worrisome rather than just being anxious and trying to evade it or anything like that. So that's kind of it. I think I already said e-collar training would be a blast. For it, no pun intended, and that's kind of it, Barb.
Yeah.
Hopefully they take us up on going after that stuff to make the dog a little better.
Yeah, lots of duration work with that. Yep.
Yeah, tons.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Last one. Question number 10 is from Jennifer. Jennifer says she looks forward to getting the e-collar DVD, which maybe she did already.
All right.
My mini educator is sitting on my desk, still practicing obedience commands. My question is this with separation anxiety. How do you define it? Along the continuum of this, what has been your most challenging case? Are the behaviors truly separation anxiety that are resolved with training, or just behaviors from a stressed dog due to human error? Are there anxiety in dogs similar to medical disorders that we have, which training is not enough? Thanks in advance.
Jesus, fancy words. Anytime continuum comes up, I'm like, pass. Anyways, so Jennifer, good question. Sorry, really good question. First of all, there are dogs that come in that have beyond anxiety issues, that have learning disabilities and cognitive challenges and things like that. So that does exist. We've had a handful of dogs come through here that training doesn't land for, doesn't have, or has marginal value for. These are dogs that typically can't process information normally, don't respond to pressure normally, kind of in their own land, things like that. It's almost like akin to autism. So I wouldn't qualify that strictly as anxiety, but we definitely see dogs that come in that have stuff that don't lend themselves to the training fully getting them into a different space. So that's one thing. As far as like our diagnosis of separation anxiety and what constitutes it, we don't get super fancy here with the diagnosis of it, and I'm not being like flip or sarcastic, but we really don't. We're pretty straightforward with this, and and what I would say is that any dog who freaks out or loses his marbles when owners leave is experiencing some kind of anxiety due to separation, right? Now, how severe is that? From mild to extreme, destroying the house, or just shaking and nervous, or barking a little bit. I mean, it runs the gamut from like next to nothing with a little training and it's like done, or major stuff and we've got to really work through it, right? So it really does run the gamut. Thinking of like a couple dogs that we had, like Raisin was a really challenging case. Raisin was a pitty that came in with a lot of, a lot of separation anxiety stuff, like heavy duty, break out of crates, destroy things. So Raisin actually came in. Raisin did great, and then we came in one day and Raisin had chewed up and destroyed the tray.
After like towards the end of his boredom train.
Yeah,
just something
like a week and change into it. He'd done really well. He just lost it that day. Who knows why? Chewed through ate the whole tray and broke it into pieces. Broke one of his teeth off. It was just a wreck, right?
We told his owner, we're like, this happened. And his owner's like, oh, okay.
He wasn't surprised.
No, but also it's like because he had done so well, we kind of figured maybe there was something that had triggered it, like some sound or some sort of thing.
Yeah, something went down that we don't know about because he had done so well, so like in a very natural arc.
Yeah.
So, and then like a lot of people, talk about Gus, Gussie Pants. Gus was he couldn't be crated prior, and he was a really like tough case for that. And so we worked him through that. Same thing. He didn't break any teeth or anything like that, but he was a real pain in the rear for multiple days. Yeah. So the thing is with separation anxiety, we have a double-pronged approach, and that's we do full comprehensive training, which gets the dog's mind right, gets the dog relaxed, gets the mental state more chilled out into just less stressed, less on edge space. Yep. So that goes a long ways towards alleviating. A lot of dogs that have issues, that's enough right there. Some dogs that have a more toxic relationship with their owners that have been allowed for years and years and years to be able to like jump in their lap, be petted incessantly, taken everywhere, not ever learning how to tolerate emotional or physical space from their owners. Can really struggle with it. You put them in the crate, you start getting like going after the crate, you start getting barking, you start getting like panicking, chewing the thing and all that stuff. Basically, to be honest, so we've got, like I said, the two-prong approach. We go after all this foundational training, a whole e-collar program, but we also correct that stuff firmly. So we have a camera, we watch dogs in the crate that start to light up, that start to like go through their typical cycle, right? So the beginning of the sequence, they start to like pant or get weird. We'll do some stuff like having them down in the crate and things like that. But if that doesn't work, and it doesn't always work, the dog starts to like chew on a crate, starts to like bark, starts to get wild. We'll use the e-collar to correct that, and we'll correct that pretty firmly. Once again, it goes back to that same concept I shared in a couple of questions earlier, is that we've got this foundational work that does a ton of work and ton of leverage for us, but then there's sometimes things that specifically need to be addressed, and they need to be corrected or punished, if you're going to use the scientific term. I know it's nasty, but it's not really. It's just that people have been so conditioned that like punishment means like abusive stuff, but it's really like a scientific term meaning to diminish a behavior. So what we would do is we'd have an e-collar on and we'd start correcting that stuff, and what happens is I'm anxious, I want out of here, this is what I've done for a long time, I chew the crate, I bark, I drool, I do all this stuff, people let me out, or I break out, or whatever it is. We have crates they can't get out of. What we do is instead interrupt that sequence. They start to get worried, correct, breaks the whole cycle. Boom, dog relaxes. Okay, maybe I'll do something different. 45 minutes later, the cycle starts again, correct, bring them back down. It's kind of a war of attrition of just slowly repatterning, slowly repatterning, slowly repatterning. And finally, the dog's like, man, I just hang out in the crate and I don't worry about it anymore. I don't have a problem with it anymore. But if you don't break the cycle, if you don't break the sequence, if you don't break that pattern that just cyclically keeps going, you're likely to have a dog that continues to have separation anxiety issues and will panic and freak himself out and could even harm himself. So that is how we go about that stuff. And I hope I answered your question about anxiety and separation anxiety, and hopefully that gives you some insights about how to go about dealing with it. Cool?
And that is the show.
Nice work. You got off easy. I was like just gabbing this whole time.
You were loving it. You were doing your thing.
I feel like it's been a while.
So we got an amazing Christmas gift.
Yeah.
It says, well, I won't read the card. It's just like from. All right, fine, I'll read it. TGD crew, wishing y'all a Merry Christmas and a most prosperous New Year. With love, the Beebs and Ella.
Thank you, Beebs and Ella.
We have to show you these gifts because basically
they're pretty cool.
Brittany and I got some stuff. I didn't open Brittany's yet, but I got this, which is awesome.
That's a cool color.
Beautiful nail color, yes.
And we know how you like your nails.
Oh yeah, and I usually use gel, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my manicure and get gel done, and then I'm going to use that over it, so I will have an episode with that on it, so I'm super excited. The most beautiful thing ever is we got...
And we didn't even use them this time.
Nope, we didn't. It's a little early in the night, but
right.
For Q&A, wine glasses, so we don't have to use our jelly jars anymore.
I dig them. They got this whole like,
cool.
It's like they're cracked, but they're not. But
yeah, it's like fake cracked glass. I forgot what that's called. It's something fancy, but they're these beautiful glasses.
It's really cool.
I love stemless wine glasses. I think they're so cool.
And we're super ghetto style here. We've got like one wine glass from IKEA, and it like, you know, we had a bunch and they just break anytime you like squeeze them too hard. They're like psh, like a movie glass. So thank you so much for this. This is really cool. We really appreciate it.
And then we got this stuff.
What are those?
These are soaps with like a little casing on it to use for
This
scrub.
feels very girl heavy. It feels like maybe the guys were overlooked a little bit. I don't see anything from me and Tony. Well, I mean the glasses.
The glasses are great.
I think this was a little girl intensive.
Girl centric, but you got a wine glass. So
I did. I'm good. I can't complain.
To relax. Anyway, we want to bring
I
that
need
out.
to relax. Ooh, take a look at that.
We want to bring that out and thank you so much, and anyone who sent cards and you guys sent like such nice comments too on our stuff. Really nice comments, and we're just really grateful for you guys, for all of you.
Yeah, and we're going to try really hard. Everybody gave us all this information and feedback about what they want to see in 2016.
Yep.
We're going to work really hard, work our butts off to try and give you more of what you're looking for. Yep. And that's it, guys.
Yeah.
We're happy to be back with a full episode. Mm-hmm. And we love you so much. Support is so much appreciated. And we'll try and get timestamps on this so people can like jam through and like, even though I'm trying to be more brief, maybe you can just like bypass it altogether and it just be questions. You don't have to listen to any of this. Anyways, guys, we love you so much.
Yeah, we love you.
We'll see you next week, all right?
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.